Hey guys.
Hey everybody. Welcome to New York Comic Con 2023. We're doing interviews, one-question interviews, with a slew of wonderful artists who will give us their time today.
Every second that we steal from them marches them closer to death.
Uh-oh. All right, get the fuck off me. This is Declan Shalvey. Here's one question. Could you tell us a little bit how you conceptualize the bone armor look for Moon Knight?
Thanks for asking. It was Warren's concept of using like old remains to fight against the ghosts, but it was kind of up to me to design the costume. So I looked at I tried to create like an exoskeleton out of bone, so the rib cage is a rib cage, and we knew we would do I remember I had a plainer version of it with a smaller beak, and everything was just a little bit more restrained. And Warren's nose was, I can't remember, it was like going crazy, like giant bird skull, like he wanted me to go nuts. So knowing I could go crazy was great. So I used them. Can't think of the names of them right now, but you see in old Egyptian hieroglyphics those characters, those men with the jackal heads.
Yes.
And they have these kind of headpieces. So I kind of took that headpiece and used that for Moon Knight's hood, and just kind of fleshed it out from there, But it was fun. It was a lot of work, and that's actually probably my favorite one. That nobody ever talks about it, but I think it's nice. So except you. Thanks for asking.
I'm glad I asked. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Here with Mahmoud Asrar, one question interview. Let's go. Do you have a comfort piece or character that you enjoy drawing?
Right. When I want to relax, I usually draw figure drawing. I prefer to draw women because I find it harder to do. So, yeah, I try some variation of that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hi, this is Jerry Dugan. One question. Was it always your plan to slaughter our X-Men vote candidates for 2023?
Well, we knew that we were planning the Hellfire Galas as act breaks, so Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. And we knew that it was going to be bad because we knew the villains had been planning to attack for a long time. And so, yeah, I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be that bad until I wrote it. But even if you didn't like what happened, hopefully you will agree it was beautiful carnage. Don't blame me, blame Orcus.
It was enough to make me pick up every single Fall of X book, so I'll tell you that much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you did the comics. Cheers.
Hey everybody, we're going to do a one-question interview here. With the world of vampire media being so massive, what inspired your take on Little Monsters?
Jeff and I think no matter how many vampire projects there are out there, for me as an artist, you got to do a vampire book. It's just something you have to do. It didn't matter if there was something out there. You kind of want to do your own. And also with Jeff and I, we love telling stories about children and stuff. And it was a perfect place for us to do it, So, yeah.
Well, that was an excellent run. We're big fans of it. Thank you for answering our question. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
Here with Philip Kennedy Johnson. One question interview. Let's go. We've been loving your dark takes on a lot of these beloved characters that, people have known for a very long time. Is there any character in particular that you're itching or you have the idea for to have a darker take on?
DC or Marvel?
Is there a dream one, as one that sticks out to you?
That I want to do a dark take on?
Yeah.
I'd love to do an Aquaman horror book.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be super dope. Nice. Ocean's scary, man. There's a lot down there. Yeah, I think that would be really fun. But I mean, my goat is Constantine, but that's already kind of a dark book. But if you're looking for something that's not normally dark, that I think should be dark or could be done really dark, I would say Aquaman.
Constantine hasn't had a solo series in a long time, so I think that would be awesome.
I would write the shit out of Constantine. So I'm putting that out there. Listen to me, DC.
Hey, everybody. So, question for you is, how do you go about directing the viewer's eyes with your paneling and layouts?
Es complicado. complicado.
It's a tricky question.
Sí, es complicado. Depende del guión. O sea,
It depends on the script.
o sea, para mí lo más importante es que sí, que se lea muy bien y focalizar a lo más importante, que es la escena principal.
The most important thing for her is to make the reader like track what she wants to track, and she has to como que tienes que averiguar lo que tienes que
Sí, o sea, que es lo que quiero contar, que es la cosa más importante, o sea,
sí,
por ejemplo,
to find out what's the most important thing of every panel and all that stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Here with Martin Simmons, one question interview. Let's go. Could you tell us a little bit about your research and how much time goes into researching these creatures of myth and stuff like that before you start drawing them in Department of Truth?
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff, the research is done through James. But I don't have a lot of time to research stuff. So like, he'll send me. I mean, he's been researching and looking at stuff to do with Department of Truth, like cryptids and ufology and all sorts of stuff since he was a kid. So like, he had it all up here already in his head. But so a lot of it's very, very well researched from James's point of view. From my point of view, with the cryptids and things, yeah, I mean, you take in certain elements, you look at stuff, but it's also sometimes quite nice to not do that and not be influenced by other people's imagery of it, or whether footage or whatever people have. That can be quite nice, just to like go with fresh eyes and just do your own thing. Yeah. But I also, you probably can't help but be influenced by stuff. There's stuff that you've taken in over the years that's influenced you already. So there's always things in your head, in your mind that you've already picked up, and you draw it all together into one piece.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's some things like the Bigfoot stuff. Everyone knows what Bigfoot looks like. Everyone, it doesn't really differ that much. Right. But the ufology stuff with the UFOs, certainly with the bit with talking about the Nazis and the UFOs and stuff like that as well. There's certain things that we've read before that we know that we can draw on those influences, and things like the George Adamski flying saucer. I don't know if you're familiar with that, the way that looks. Sure. That's like. That's kind of ingrained in my mind, that one. Right. That's kind of the classic saucer, and that kind of fits quite well with all the kind of the Nazi stuff. It's almost like a nuts and bolts UFO, rather than today's kind of more modern approach to like triangular shapes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But so really, it's that. I mean, I don't do a lot of research on the job purely because I don't have time. I don't really necessarily need to with those things. Right. There's certain things as we go through that James might need me to look at something especially. But generally speaking, yeah, I'll just draw on what I've already got there.
Very cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here with Jeremy Adams, one question interview. Let's go. Right. So, how was it being the first writer to have written a Wally West lead flash in years?
Oh my gosh. It was a thrill. I mean, when I started doing it, I don't think anybody knew I was doing it for quite a while. So being left alone really provided me the opportunity to kind of like find my voice for how I wanted to write Wally. And then fans just kind of gravitated and really started championing the book in a way that made it organically successful. And so by the end of it was really, it was hard because I was so invested, but the fans were so invested. We were all I felt like we were all in this together. And even right away, I had said when I took over, as long as I'm writing, Wally's going to be okay. That was the promise because, he was a character that got kind of beat up for a while. Yeah. So it felt really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Hi, this is Zoe Thorogood. We're going to ask her one question. So could you tell us a little bit about how your love of theater finds its way into your comic creations?
Gosh, okay, that's quite a complicated question. To me, like a comic, so theatre was my first love. I loved theatre. I wanted to act. I wanted to be a playwright. I also loved art, and I got into comics. But I always feel like my comics feel kind of theatrical because to me, like the page, there was a part in a book that I made that was very much comparing like the page to a stage. Like I control the characters. I'm the director. I'm the actor. Like when I'm like figuring out what a character is feeling or like how I'm going to draw them, it's coming from me. So. That I kind of see the blank page as a stage that I am controlling everything on.
Right.
So.
Right, cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Here with Valerio Schiti, one question interview. Let's go. Do you have a favorite Iron Man armor to draw?
Yeah. I have my favorite Iron Man armor is the one that I did. The one I can't remember the model actually, but it's the Extremis 2 I called it, and it's the one that I did for Tony Stark Iron Man when I was on the series written by Dan Slott.
Very cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Here with Marco Rudy. One question interview. Let's go. When creating a piece, how important is the atmosphere and environment to you?
The atmosphere and environment of the piece, or
that you are in,
that I'm in?
That you're occupying.
It depends on what it is that I have to do. If it's for Comic-Con, I am in a vibe of Comic-Con, and I'm everything is set up for me to just have fun and just, I don't know, entertain myself, I suppose. Whereas if it's a cover or something that I have to do, I need to be very secluded, very away from everything, everybody. Even I prefer to work at nighttime when everybody's asleep. So it depends a lot on what it is that I have to do. So the environment contributes to it. Right. If I'm at Comic-Con, I'm interacting with people, and to be honest, the fact that I'm doing that contributes to what I'm doing on the spot. Whereas if I am alone, if it's a different type of thing and I'm alone, it is a completely different vibe, like mindset. Like the software is completely different for me. The programming is different from what it is that I have to do. Like I wouldn't be able to work at a convention, but I can do like convention stuff at home. But I actually prefer to do it at the show. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
Cool. And it reflects in your work, you're saying?
In a way. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hi.
Thanks for doing this with us.
Yes.
We have Mr. Nakayama here. We're just going to do one interview question. Do you have a favorite figure that you've done the box art for? A figure that you
Hasbro Marvel Legends? That we're talking about? Nice. You know what? I think for me, it might be Apocalypse. And I'll tell you why. It's because the box is super huge. Yeah. They put the art right on the front. It's real dramatic. Everything came together on that one. If you guys have seen the Marvel Legends Apocalypse retro card, that's the stuff.
The retro card one?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, excellent choice.
I also did one for the Age of Apocalypse line, just a standalone box. That was also nice, but if I had to pick, I would choose the retro card one.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Yeah. Casper Wingard, one question. One question for you. Why blue and pink?
I really don't know. It's older than I can remember, really, when it comes to coloring comics. I just liked it at the time. Okay. And then whenever I'm coloring now, it just seems easier to use those colors together because I know they work. And it just happens, like, whenever I'm going through my colors and I'm trying to make things work, it's like my built-in go-to colors. I honestly couldn't tell you that there was any, like, there wasn't any real reason behind it. It just always looks good to me. And whenever I try other things, I'm always questioning whether or not it looks good, so I just go back to blue and pink. That's about it. I'm sorry it's not more exciting than that.
No, we were genuinely curious. So. I appreciate the response, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is Lukas Ornek. We have one question. Who is your favorite member of the Quiet Council, if you had to pick?
The Quiet Council? Oh my God. Nobody. Emma Frost. Yeah, because we never know what she's thinking about. Like, she's kind of villain, but she's kind of hero. But she do for the kids, but for herself. And Emma is a great character. I think Emma is the best member.
That's a great choice. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Here with Fred Van Lente, one question interview. Let's go. So could you do us the honor of telling us about how the Eminem Punisher book came to be?
So, apparently Eminem is a big Punisher fan. And particularly the Garth Ennis run the Punisher, which I now also love. But at the time I didn't know anything about the Punisher at all, really. Other than he was a Spider-Man villain. So really, like, that whole plot line that you see in the comic was largely come up with by Eminem and his manager.
Oh, okay.
So, apparently Eminem is a huge fan of John Romita Sr., who designed the Punisher.
and so got a bunch of stuff of him signed afterwards, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, so if you're mad that like Eminem and or Punisher beat up Barracuda, not my idea. It was all M&M's, and Sal De La Roca banged out that comic like really quickly. So like that all came about very quickly, and it was serialized first in XXL magazine. So I'm one of the few comics writers who've been in XXL magazine. So bucket list crossed off.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Actually, one more additional question.
Okay.
Do you think Eminem died on the ice?
I can say he didn't because he signed a comic and sent it to me. So I have proof of life.
Hey everybody, here is Stevan Subic. We have one question, quick interview right here. So, could you tell us a little bit how you got to be approached for this Riddler book?
Well, I have a lot of my work already circling around the globe, Conan, Tarzan, Sherlock Holmes and stuff. And it happens to came to the right person initially to the Paul as well, and he just decided to try, and then after that we just continuing to work like for a year and a half after that, and we have the series. That easy, literally.
Well, I loved it so much. It's on constant reread because there's so much to look at on every page. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hey, everybody. This is Kyle Starks. One question. How did the Marvel Unleashed book come to be?
Oh, how did the Marvel Unleashed book come to be? Basically, Marvel wanted to... I hope I don't get in trouble. Marvel wanted to make a version of the Pet Avengers that wasn't like a kiddie joke. Donny Cates basically had a version of the Pet Avengers show up in Thor, and it's like a different version. It's Bats, Throg, Lockjaw, and two crows that I don't know. But they liked the idea of them being a formidable sort of existence in the Marvel Universe. So they came to me and they were like, "Do you think you can do that?" And I was like, "For sure." And so we're going to. It's a great book. It will also make you cry. Guaranteed. So, and laugh and cry. That's what I do. So, yeah, that's how it happened. That's the answer to the one question.
Yeah, we've been really enjoying it.
Nice, thanks.
Dog.
Yeah, dog. The best adjective you could give a dog if you're a dog is dog. His name is D-Dog. Her name is D-Dog. Dog.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Hi, everybody. We're here with Mr. Cooter. We have a one-question interview for him. Do you have a personal favorite project that you've worked on thus far?
Yes. You want me to expand? Okay.
Please.
I just got a rotisserie chicken attachment for my grill at home. I love cooking. That's been my favorite, like in a minute. Yeah. But other than that, I'm really enjoying Daredevil. So.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Alex Maleev, one question. Do you have a process before you sit down and start a new piece?
I don't have a process. I don't follow any rules. I only have a deadline. When I have a deadline, that's my inspiration.
Okay. Thank you. Here with David Pepose. One question interview. Let's go. So, how did you react to losing your main character, and did you get a lot of advance notice?
Sure. Well, as far as Conan was concerned, it actually, I think it was a pivot that wound up being a change for the better. When I had written the original outline for our first two arcs of Savage Avengers, I had actually said, well, we have Conan in the Hyborian Age. We can always leave Conan in the Hyborian Age, and we can always have him come back at a later time, or have him sort of travel through time taking the hard way. And so I found out, I had just finished my second issue of the book when I was told that, hey, plans have changed as far as the Conan license is concerned. And no, honestly, like the first arc came out exactly as I had originally written it. I just said, okay, we're going to use that escape hatch that I had written. And if anything, I think our second arc actually came out much better than what my original plans were. I had some plans involving, it was the Cult of Set finding Deathlock technology, but I think the core villain that I had wasn't as good as what we landed with Ultron 2099. Right. And honestly, it was a great way to fold in Punisher 2099. I had said from the jump, when I had a wish list of characters, Punisher was on that list. I said both Frank Castle and Rachel Cole-Alvis. Yeah. And when that's when I found out that Frank was going to be on adventures of his own with the Hand in Jason Aaron's run. And with Rachel Cole-Alvis, it was a real heartbreaker not to use her. I had too many characters. I had to kind of make some cuts. I had Moon Knight on that list as well, and I had to cut him as well. Thankfully, I did get to write Moon Knight later in City of the Dead.
Yeah, during that as well.
Yeah, so honestly, I think it worked out for the best. There's probably like a week or two where, of course, you're just figuring out like, okay, what are you going to do? And so there's always like a little bit of stress involved with that, just like any project. Right. But ultimately, we had a pretty good deal of notice. And so we were able to kind of make sure that we teed up those last 3 issues and also make some minor dialogue changes to the first 2 issues to really kind of set up like this is Conan's final hurrah in the Marvel universe and to give him the kind of send off that he deserves. So I honestly, I couldn't be more honored to have written Marvel's last Conan comic. I really loved the farewell scene we wrote for Conan. And there's not much I would change about Savage Avengers. It really was the best first title I could have asked for at Marvel, and I'm just grateful to all the fans who really kind of carried us to across the plate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Here with Stephanie Hans. One question interview. How important is it for you to set up an ideal environment for you to work in?
So I have ADHD. I need a proper environment to work. Otherwise, I just don't work. I will wait until 11:59 and still not be able to work. So I actually work either I have an art studio with other artists in France. I have also one at home, which I barely work in. And also I work in cafes. I go to cafes to do sketches. I go to the art studio to do finals.
Very nice. Very cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Peter Tomasi here. One question interview. Let's go. How did you approach balancing the interactions between Damian and John?
The great thing about those 2 characters is they're completely polarized. So you have one, a light one and a dark one. And their distinct personalities and their distinct upbringings by their specific fathers like Bruce and Clark. It clearly informs each of their characters, and it's a great way to approach that those 2 friends and show them from many different shades of light and darkness.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hi, this is Patrick Gleason. This is one question for him. Could you tell us a little bit how you went into designing John Kent's Superboy costume?
Oh, sure. Well, honestly, I didn't really design his costume. It was Jorge Jimenez. Sorry. But I did a design for him. So originally, Super Sons was designed before we started on Superman. So when we wrote the story leading up to it, there was a moment where John Kent was going to become Superboy. And so when Pete and I were writing this, we talked about it, that he wouldn't just have a suit right away. Right. And so when I wrote that issue, or that scene in issue 2, we wanted him to have kind of a pre-Superboy suit. So he was going to have, I think the dialogue I wrote was that he got it at the thrift store, and he just wanted to be like his dad. And so there's a design that I did in the omnibus that shows his design, and it was his jeans aren't ripped yet. It's before he fully goes into the Super Sons mode. So I did the very, very chronologically first version, but Jorge originally came up with the design.
Okay. Cool.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you so much.
So I'll give away some of the Easter eggs in here. So when we first meet when the new Suicide Squad first get their powers, and that page where they start to kind of toy with them.
Yeah.
There's a little Easter egg here, and you would probably need a magnifying glass to see it. But Boris, this crack is actually supposed to represent a crack in reality, and that is Earth. That is one of the other alternate Earths.
Okay.
That he's seen too.
So that's what he's saying. I can see the fucking corners of the universe. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I can see the corners, and so yeah, he's actually seen into one of the other DCU realms.
Wow.
And then another great thing with the hardcover is it shows some of my process at the end.
Sweet.
So you get to see some of my fine art painting and how that kind of applied to the way that I approached the cover, setting up this still life, which I actually painted from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I actually lit little, I took little pieces of tissue and I soaked them in alcohol, and then lit them on fire. And
so
then
you create models before you start the process.
I 3D printed Peacemaker's helmet, 3D printed King Shark's teeth, the boomerang, as well as the mallet.
Wow.
And then my friend who I used for reference for the monster, I printed out his photo reference I used, and then reflected that off the helmet, and then photographed that to use for the cover.
So that was going to be my question was, how did you come up with this monster design? And I think you just answered that.
Well, kind of, but the real, and this actually also gets into that. It shows some of my photo reference process. So you can see how I was shooting it. I can tell, so this is the actual reason for why the monster looks the way he does. So I don't know if you're familiar that there's a fan theory out there of why Superman is never recognized as Clark Kent, and the theory goes that he vibrates at a high frequency. So that's not that's not canon, but that's the fan theory. So I was like, well, why don't we? Yeah, I was like, why don't we do that for the monster? So the monster is actually vibrating. His body is constantly moving at such a high rate because he can't contain all of that energy that is getting out of him. So he always appears in multiple places at once, like bifurcated, always.
Right.
And so that was the idea. And so when I'm shooting my photo reference to use, we were doing like multiple exposures using hot light painting. And so that's how I ended up getting these sort of crazy, images that I could work from to do my, final art. So, yeah, that's the idea. That's the reason.
Wow. That's incredible. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.